Hello there, all you amazing people. We are going to look at my coding project. This is my coding laptop, so if you guys want to see what specifications that I'm running with as a coding laptop, and I do anything from low, high, front end, Java, not Java, web, Android stuff on this one here. And this is a somewhat cheap-ish computer. It's like the Novus Enterprise. It's an E14. You can see the processor. I did upgrade it to 32 gig of RAM, where I'm using about 4 or 5 for the GPU core, because this is actually a somewhat decent gaming rig also, funny enough. I kind of want to showcase the development projects that I'm doing here. You can see I have a lot of them here. And some of them I can show you, and some of them I can't show you, because they're for other projects, for other people. I'm going to look at my repo, and if you're using Windows Studio Code and don't know where your repo is, before that, remember to comment, like, subscribe, watch the video to the end, then make a comment, so you know what's going on. But the repo is, or repos, I think it is. So if you're using Visual Studio Code, it tends to save all your projects in one place. So if you go into users in your C drive, Kent, that's me. We go down to, you can see I have some Flutter stuff I'm working on here also. Sources and repos. So in here is all the repos you have on your computer, unless you're saving them in another place, but this is typically where they are. Also, again, forgive me for the weird format. This is not a 1080p screen, it's a 1200p screen, so the format is a little bit weird. That's why we have the black borders out in the corner. Slowly show them, open them, talk a little bit about them. I'm slowly going to migrate the source code to GitHub, but you can also download them if you want to. So if you want to open like your project, you need to open the SLN file, and this is like an Airfryer temp converter. And some of them I will boot up, some of them I won't, because I need like a phone. This is a phone app. Running the emulator on bare metal, even with 12 cores, is a little bit cumbersome. It takes a little bit of time to compile it, open the emulator and all that stuff. But you should get an idea in the SAML file to show, so you can see kind of what it is. This is just a super simple Airfryer temp converter. Okay, it's not going to showcase the preview here because it's Maui. So this is done in .NET Maui, or yeah, .NET Maui I think it's called. And this is just basically the code of it. But what it does is it takes the temperature from a normal convection oven, and you type that in a text box, and it showcases you or tell you how much to set your air fryer on. It is highly depending on the air fryer, how good quality it is, and blah blah blah. And the time is also depending on what brand of air fryer, if it's only top heated or bottom heated or both. This is kind of like the first version of it. I don't know if this is like, is this also Maui, or is this the desktop version that I made first? Yeah, so this is like the desktop version that I made first. I don't know if I think this is actually works. So I tend to use like or build a proof of concept first. I like to doing that. This is like my proof of concept just to get the logic right. So if I do 120 centigrade and I click enter, that tells me my air fryer have to be set at 102. Mine goes in 5 degrees increment, centigrade, not Fahrenheit. So that will probably be 100. And you could take the time down and do 105. But this is basically what the app does. And now I'm thinking about I could have run the Airfryer temp in Windows, because it's a multi-platform one. But yeah, like I do like making just like a really rough one, rough proof of concept, minimal viable product, to see if the logic is there. And then I do like a proper project with everything in it. And I do like a rough project, and I do like the MVVM and all that shit in the later on. So this is like a coffee list, as I call it. This is my to-do list app that I actually use quite a lot. I think okay, this is like the Maui version of it that I haven't worked on yet. So this is like a test project for the Maui version. Coffee Weather is one that I have built that I actually need to just run it, but it's basically just a simple weather app that use Open Weather Map, and it's actually working quite well. I just need to package it, do it properly. So here you can basically see the temp we have right now, the feel like, the weather, the humidity, the weather speed. And if I run it, this is actually, because I'm using MVVM, it's updating the data in the preview here. So you can see here, this is how it looks like if you would be running it in the app form. So this is one that I need to actually just run on my main machine because I forgot that I was done with it. And I need to check the structure for it because there's a private API key in there that I of course don't want to share with you guys because you're going to bankrupt me by being trolls and stuff like that. Then you get, I think you can update it every 2 minutes for a whole day and you're still within like the core limit for the free tier. The computer checker, I've showcased this in another video, but this is one that I use for work. I built it myself, but I use it for myself and for work. So if I click run test, I might as well just do it. Information gathering and a battery test, and it tells you like the basics of your computer, and it puts 2 files on your desktop. Report of what it's found, and then a battery report. You see it's done. This is ugly as fuck, I need to fix that. But this is like, I've used this a few times already. And here you get like a detailed battery report to basically tells you if your battery is doing okay. And I would say the battery report is probably the most interesting one, because if you get install, you are working with a lot of used computers, it's actually surprisingly a really, really good way of figuring out if you need to replace the battery. And it's all of this is like the computer check is using all built-in Windows commands from the PowerShell. Google Pix is basically just or GPix is just a web holder, web page, or VPF program that holds a web page that serve you Google Pictures. I don't want to open that one. This is MVVM testing. I have a few of those when I'm testing new things that I learned with MVVM. I'm still new to kind of MVVM, so a lot of times I'm learning something at work, something at work, like try and do this with like bindings and stuff that I'm fucking around with in these two here. The NetScan test is a program I made long time ago that's useless. Product Stalker is a work-related thing. I can show that. Project Premium is also a work kind of thing I can show you about. Project Bob, I think this is a work thing, I can't remember. So yeah, Project Bob is an old work thing I don't need anymore. And so is Relocator and Relocator N1. Actually, these I don't need anymore because these are things I made for other people. The reason why I called one N8 is because I was testing .NET 8 versus .NET 9. Because both of them are MAUI apps, and if you're using the community MAUI toolkit, they tend to prefer the latest version of .NET instead of the LTS. It's a little bit, iffy-diffy. But this is the latest one that I've been fucking around with, to be honest. And it's kind of like, it started out as a maintenance tool. Now, this is going to get its own video with explaining this is kind of like a project that I want to make to explain how I code and the practices I like to follow. Yeah, so you will see a video about this program, but it's basically made into like a PowerShell automator, a PowerShell activator, or a PowerShell runner. Oh, I need to restart it into a good old admin mode. So what it does is, like, you can I can briefly talk about it. You have like a folder here called PowerShell. So do I have any of them open? No. So let's do the info PowerShell. So basically what you do, you make a PowerShell file. You can automate. I have one here, like install software, with that's utilizing your generic list and blah 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 blah. So all the files you put in here in this PowerShell folder here will come up when you run the program. And I still have worked in like the run all thing. But let's just say we want the info here. So if I click this one here, it gives me some information about the computer. If you can see, all these files here are in here. And it's basically just going to be for people that don't want to go into the PowerShell and sit and type in a lengthy command to where the PowerShells are, or it's just a more convenient way of running PowerShells, if you get what I'm coming at. We can, I have some here because, again, this is a tool I may use when I'm setting up laptops for private people or talk with people, and then I may use it at work for, when I'm fucking around with computers there. So, like, I have one here that's updating software you have installed. So it's using Winget basically to look at the software you have, and now it's going to update it. So if there's any updates for any software, it's going to update. You can see here we have actually a lot: Audacity, Git, NT Lite, Notepad, Oracle Visual Studio. This is a little bit hit miss. Some work, some don't. But like I said, I probably is going to make like a full-blown video just for this app here. And if I take some of these PowerShell scripts away from that folder, they're not going to show up in the program. And it is, again, it is just a lazy man's way of dealing with PowerShell script. Instead of open up PowerShell, type in the good old, navigate to the folder, type in the whole name of the script and run it, or make it. You can also, like in Windows, you can set so if you double click a PowerShell script, it will open up PowerShell and run it by default. This is just, again, like I said, an easy, lazy man's way of running PowerShells. Because a lot of developers are lazy assholes. And I just found this like a really, really interesting project. It's basically automating PowerShells. You can run this, you can even set this into like a schedule, a program, and you can do like the run all here. And you can invoke that command every time the program starts up. So you can make a scheduled task in Windows that starts up the program, it runs all the scripts, close down the program. So you can basically automate, like let's say once a week your program is running, it's auto-opening via schedule in Windows. I can see if I can, task scheduler is the one you want. So in here you can set up a schedule, a new task, and say run it every week, open the program, and then you can build the program so every time it starts up, it runs all the PowerScript shells you have in the PowerShell folder, and when it's done, close the program. There's some, if you want me to show you how to do that, let me know down below, and we can make a little video where we make this program auto-run all the scripts you have in that folder when it on boot of program, and then close it after it's done. We can definitely do that. But that's another way of like, let's say you have a lot of scripts you want to run on your system. You can automate it like that. You can also just make a PowerShell file, it open the PowerShell file, and it automating that. But this is just, I personally wanted to see how PowerShell was integrating and working with .NET or C#. So this is just a little, like, how do I invoke PowerShell commands, or how do I run PowerShell scripts within .NET? And that's basically when I came up with this. So anyway, a little dirty one here for you, quick and dirty one. If you want any of these programs to be made a specific video about, we go in depth why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, how the code looks, explaining the code, blah, 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 let me know. If there's a program, or if you want the programs for now, go onto my Discord. There's a link down below, and ask me for, can I get this program? Because I haven't set up like GitHub properly to LibreOffice always fucking fails with updating from Winget. I don't know why. But anyway, like I can send you a zip file with the program or even the code if it's like shareable enough, if that makes sense. But the idea is that in the future, all of this will be on GitHub. The source code will be on GitHub. You can go nuts with it. I just wanted to make it presentable, so there's not too many. Prototyping is messy. It's dirty. It looks like shit for a lot of people, and I just want to make sure it don't look like shit, and you can actually get somewhat your head around about what my brain is thinking when I'm doing stuff. Because prototyping is fast and dirty a lot of times. So again, thank you for watching. See you all later. Bye bye.